The Flow Friday Night Sports Show is back into the second hour of the program, Flowman, and I tell you what, the AFL is back as well. How good was it last night?
Well, I didn't get to watch a lot of it. I was actually working back at the office, but Carl Carrington, he let me know all about it this morning because I went for the upset last night. I just had a funny feeling, but the funny feeling was nothing to do with football, I think, in the end, because he was singing to me this morning when I arrived at work. He was singing to me the cheer, what is it? He was singing to me...
No, not cheer. That's the wrong club, Flo.
He was singing to me, yellow and black.
That's the one.
We are from Ty.
Yeah.
Now, Carl Carrington barracks for the Power, and they were beaten by Richmond in last year's prelim. What is the bloke doing, singing that song to me? And it was just because he's one in front of me.
That's right. It's all about the footy tipping.
It is.
We've got a little footy tipping competition going on. You obviously tipped Carlton. Just for the record, I tipped Richmond by 25 points. Yep. So I'd like the season to stop now.
Yes, that's why we pay you the big bucks.
That's it. If the season was to end now, I'd be pleased. No, I wouldn't be, actually. I've been waiting for this for some time. First of all, how good was it back to see footy back at the MCG with a crowd? There's something about that stadium. The MCG is the mecca of football. Whether you live in South Australia, Western Australia, it does not matter. Football is just better at the MCG with a big crowd on hand. And that 50,000 people last night sounded like 70 or 80, didn't it?
I'll pose you a question, though. Dustin Martin, just say he gets injured. Will Richmond win their fourth flag in 5 years?
Yes, well, they can. They are a club that can lose a star or two along the way, and I know Dustin Martin is bigger than a star. Last night he was incredible.
Yeah.
But they are a club that plays on system and system alone. So Dustin Martin is the cream on the cake. Don't get me wrong. He's a star and makes a big difference. Will it be tougher? Yes, but they can win without him.
I'm going to ask you, that rule change, now, I think it actually gave us a higher score.
Let's be clear on this. Yes. The rule change we're talking about is the the medical sub.
Yep.
Not the man on the mark?
No, the man on the mark.
Okay, you want to talk about the man on the mark? Go
Definitely.
For it.
Man on the mark. I think it contributed to higher scoring.
Okay.
And more goals.
I can't argue with you, actually. I liked it. Dustin Martin took advantage of it early because he's not only a very good player, he's a smart player. I've got no problem with that. The rule I have an issue with is the new sub, the medical sub. I think that is the most ridiculous thing that the AFL could have brought in, and they were so close to having it right.
Yep.
So close. So the deal is both the medical subs were utilised last night. We had Vlosten come off with some sort of knock to his knee, which warranted a medical sub coming onto the ground. Ross came on for him. And Carlton's Silvani did a shoulder, so they brought on Oscar McDonald, and he took a couple of nice clunks and kicked a couple of goals. Now, this is not what it was designed for. It was designed for serious injuries, ones that were going to keep players out for a long period of time.
Yeah, 12 days at least on concussion. That was the view of the concussion sub.
And the AFL folded here.
Yes.
All they had to do was leave this at concussion. A player gets concussion. You've got a concussion sub rule. There would not have been any problems. Everybody would have known what it was for. Once a player is ruled out for concussion, he must sit out for 12 days anyway. If they just left it at that, that's fine. Now they've opened it up to rorting, and I reckon we might have even seen it in the first 2 weeks of the year. Yep. I don't know the extent of Jack Silvani's injury nor of Vlostone's, but if they play next week, you can bet your bottom dollar that rule will change again very soon.
Yeah, okay. And another point just out of the game before we move to some other AFL stuff. I'm seeing your hostility, and I'm changing the subject because you got hostile about Serena Williams, and we had to get the lawyers out almost to... anyway, getting on to this particular topic. Oscar McDonald did come on and kick a couple of goals, and he came much maligned from Melbourne, delisted, and the boy from Edenhope Apsley in the southeast, the part or southwest of Victoria, he was okay.
98 games for Melbourne, kicked one goal, one game for Richmond, kicked two.
Yep.
For Carlton,
yes.
Kicked two. Get the club right.
Yep.
I think he might have a future, that boy. Melbourne might have missed another trick.
Well, no tricks to be missed in the round of football. If you are listening to the Saturday morning repeat, then you'll know the answer to the match between Collingwood and the Bulldogs. Adam Treloar is the centre focus. If Bruce McAvaney was commentating still, and he's not, he would have come come in and introduce this game with everything about Adam Treloar, the emotion, the pain, the passion, the power. It would have all been in Bruce's vernacular, and it would have been a special night of football because of Adam Treloar having represented the great Collingwood Footy Club and now over at the Bulldogs. But if you're listening to Saturday morning, you'll know how that all turned out. Probably a bit of a fizzer, actually.
Well, Adam Treloar must just be loving his decision to having gone to Collingwood instead of Richmond because, of course, at the time he said Collingwood had a better list than Richmond. Since then, they've won 3 flags and Collingwood have moved him on. So...
Yes, and the Bulldogs.
Bulldogs win that.
They looking okay.
Yeah, they're a better side. They'll
Yep.
win. On Saturday, Melbourne and Fremantle. Toss a coin here. I like what Freo are doing. I think Melbourne might win.
Melbourne at home.
The Crows and Geelong. Now, we've got a couple of Crows players out, including Matt Crouch. It looks as though the new recruit, Jeremy Cameron's done a hammy for the Cats. He'll be out as well. And they could have about 15 players out and still win this game.
And congratulations to Sam Berry from the Gippsland town of Maffra, who starts his career at the Adelaide Crows. It won't matter when he starts. He won't have a first win to sing about this week. The Cats in Adelaide.
Essendon and Hawthorn. I have no idea who's going to win this game. They were both disappointing last year. I think maybe the Bombers, but I don't know.
Just let me tell you, this game will not rise to the same occasion that the 1980s clashes in grand finals between these two juggernauts did at that stage. Hawthorn.
Yep. The Brisbane Lions at home. The Swans will go up there and have a free kick at the Lions, who are red-hot favourites to win this and should, but the Swans are better than we think.
And what about the Brisbane Lions? Can Fagan reignite the passion that they had last year? Will they come out of last year disappointed with how far? I think they were bound for a grand final and at home on their own deck. Should have probably played in a grand final. Didn't. And will that passion to reignite that with young men? Not as easy to do. Brisbane win.
North are terrible. They will take on Port Adelaide at Marvel Stadium, and Port Adelaide will flog them.
I'm not going to ever say Port Adelaide to flog anybody. I can barely.
Get used to it.
Carl Carrington, he can start singing his power song instead of that Richmond thing to me, but North Melbourne, they won't win.
Round 1, and I'm going to say it, if the Saints are legit, they'll beat the Giants in round 1 action at their stadium, Blacktown, that's right. I don't think the Giants are around the mark this year. I think the Saints are.
Yeah, I'm going to go with St Kilda here.
Yeah.
A lot of people are saying the Giants at home, but I think they're forgetting that the Giants have lost some good players in the off-season and haven't really replaced them. St Kilda have gained some good players and I think are poised from last year's good efforts to actually go one step further.
My tip for a club on the slide this year is the West Coast Eagles, and they take on the Gold Coast Suns at home. They'll beat them, but I think the Suns are going to be the big improvers this year, so I'm really looking forward to this game. It's the last match of the round.
And it's in Perth, but is this a slight little upset here? Early, I went for it last night with the Carlton and Richmond game, and I was laughed at by Carl Carrington, who sung that Richmond.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm going to go. I'm not going to tell you who I'm going for, actually, because I'm going to keep this one up my sleeve because I have to catch one up on you.
All right, fair enough. There it is. That's what we think will happen in the AFL. Good luck to your team. It's great to have the footy back. It is the Flow Friday Night Sports Show. Coming up, we've got Dan Crouch to talk NBL and NBA. Some interesting stuff there, Flowman.
Yeah, I'd love a coffee too, so I might just nip for one of them pretty soon.
Easy. Just wait. We'll get Dan on the line next.